So 2 more minutes that people can join in. We'll start the class in 2 minutes. Jai Hind, Vedi, all clear. We are here for oceanography. This is a 2-hour class. छोटा रखेंगे और slide भी तो upload करना है. Let me look at that also. So sleeping time in North India. Okay. खा पी कर अब तुम लोग सो गए. After eating, when I speak, you will sleep. I understand you've already given me a hint. Urvi, what is the plan? What if I also start snoring? So 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. CSAT. No sleeping. Okay. So all set. Give me 2 minutes. I'll just have some water refill for myself, and then we will start. 2 minutes. So, but आप नींद आने ही नहीं देंगे. अरे सर्वेश्वर, नींद का क्या है? नींद कम वक्त कभी भी आ सकती है. ये सुनो. Okay, so where are we? No comments, nothing, no questions. Good afternoon to all. सबका नाम नहीं लिया है, but good afternoon to all. Yes. Sorry for being late. Library से time लग गया. Oh my God, खुशी इतना क्या मतलब? I thought कि lunch ले लो तुम. तो library में जाकर मेहनत कर रहे थे. So everyone, remember coral reefs. So quickly, whatever comes to your mind about coral reefs, what you know, we will be talking about coral bleaching. So let me know what is coral bleaching. क्या है क्या आप जानते हैं? Where is it happening in the world? Where is it happening in the world? It's happening in tropical areas. Corals are getting damaged. Okay, perfect. Mostly tropical regions. Perfect. So we had already looked at the map of corals, where they are found and all those things. Sewage is killing them. Oil spill is killing them. Temperature change is killing them. Okay, so many things. Absolutely correct. So let me also bring from my oceanography classes coral bleaching. So coral reef we had already talked of. Now we're going to stick to coral bleaching. So remember, corals have brilliant colors. Corals have brilliant colors. Colors are attributed to the algae. Algae is the plant that lives over the coral polyp. Coral polyp exoskeleton. So it is living on this coral polyp exoskeleton. Coral is an animal. They come in different colors. These algae have different colors. Those pigments, yes or no? Algae, plants also, and then we also call them zooxanthellae. The pigment, the color is on account of this. As long as this connection is there between the plant and animal, as long as this connection is there, we call this connection as the symbiotic association. The algae provides the food and the animal the habitat. Is everyone with me? So food and habitat, this is what the sequence is, and this is what we are looking at. Normally this is happening. One of the best symbiotic associations. It is a highly productive ecosystem, highly diverse ecosystem. Huge amount of carbon sequestration happens because of that. These corals, as from our last class on oceanography, we know require certain conditions to survive on, and that tells us that they survive in the warm tropical waters. They survive in the shallow photic zones because they need to do photosynthesis. They like clear water, and they will not tolerate too much of variation in temperature, salinity, and acidity of the sea. There is a permitted range, that is where they are operating. But what is happening is ocean acidification. Ocean acidification and global warming. Because of that, water temperature is going up. Water temperature is going up, and even we have heard, current affairs अगर मैं लेकर आऊं तो marine heat waves. Add to this, if I may add to this, sewage disposal, human sewage, biological wastes reaching coastal ecosystems. Yes or no? You heard of cultural eutrophication and the condition of hypoxia? Severe shortage of oxygen. on account of these and human activities, human direct activities like fishing techniques, tourism, and even natural disasters and diseases like corals suffer from plagues, etc. These corals are facing a lot of stress. What are these? These are called stressors. So because of these stressors, the symbiotic association is challenged. Yes, stressors, the symbiotic association is challenged. And if this breaks, the zooxanthella is lost. And as a result, the coral loses its color. So though it loses everything, the coral loses a lot. But how is it visible to us? It is in the form of loss of color, and normal calcium carbonate is white in color. So we are saying bleaching happens. Is everyone okay with bleaching? Sir, I'm new to your course, sir. I started watching. Where do I start watching from? Basic or from human geography? I would strongly advise Aman, look at the first class of this course, which is called the course Blueprint. वहां से करें, आप फाउंडेशन करें. अभी तो चल रहा है ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी, वैसे भी 12 दिन है, 12 दिन कोई क्लास नहीं हो रही. 12 days, you don't have any class, so you can do one foundation. So इसका कोर्स का Blueprint, first lecture of this course. Go to my profile and do that. That will tell you everything. So 12 days, there is no class. You can use this to cover up those foundation lectures. चलिए, अमन के क्वेश्चन का आंसर हो गया. बाकी लोगों को कोरल रीफ में कोरल ब्लीचिंग समझ में आ गया कि नहीं? What is coral bleaching? Though the target is reef over here, but आज तो हम bleaching की बात कर रहे हैं. I hope कि मैंने slide भी सही लगाई है. Coral concerns, हाँ ठीक है. Risk many threats including global warming, global listing, overfishing and destructive fishing. So what we are doing is we are destructing the seabed. The seabed is getting destroyed, and as a result, what is happening? The corals are also there. Bottom trawling हो रही है. क्या? Bottom trawling. What is bottom trawling? You are carrying those heavy things at the ocean bottom and trawling everything. I'll put a video to this. I'll put a video of bottom trawling on the channel. I'll put a video of bottom trawling ताकि आपको समझ में आ जाए. Do we get that? Okay. So where are we? Nutrients and toxic chemicals, as I told you, the toxins which are there, so pollutants are killing them. Coral mining, people are using coral. You know, coral can be used as a construction material. Coral can also be used as a construction material. So उसमें भी जा रहा है. Shoreline development, lot of tourism happening over there, lot of infrastructure coming over there. So shorelines are getting modified, and as a result, things are changing over there. Many human activities that can have damaging impact are blah 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 blah, fishing, pollution, development, tourism. ये लिखा भी हुआ है और इधर भी आपने. This is brainstorming. Can you do that? So question will come on concerns on corals. This can come in GS also. This can come in optional also. Not a very big challenge, but we must understand what is happening. So there I just told you, you need to mention about zooxanthella. You need to mention about the symbiotic association and how this symbiotic association is getting broken. Is everyone with me on this? So overfishing कैसे मार रही है? Restrictive fishing practices are there. Many key fisheries are being destroyed. Water quality problems, land-based sediments are leaching nutrients and other pollutants. Who's bringing the sediments? Sediments are brought by the rivers. So sediments are brought by the rivers. Then how can it be a problem? Sediments though come naturally. Well, please read this: increased load of sediment. So the human beings are not adding sediments. Well, human activities are causing greater sediment load. When you deforestation, soil gets eroded. Yes or no? Reaches the water bodies. True or not? When you blast developmental projects, many things are happening. So they are putting a load of sediments, nutrients. Remember, agricultural residue and all those things reaching the water. That's also there, and other pollutants flowing into the oceans. Sediments reduce water clarity, and remember turbidity. They want clear water. लिखा था हमने कहीं पर. Did I write clear water? So they like clear water. So when there are too much of sediments and turbidity, they will like. So they will not only kill they will choke the polyp, but they will also block the light for corals for algae photosynthesis. Okay, they might get buried in the sediments, and as a result, they will die. Coastal development, dredging operations, corals are harvested for limestone to make roads. Imagine we are making roads out of those corals. Anything we get, human beings are so exploitative कि कुछ भी मिल जाए इसका जूस कैसे निकाल ले, कुछ यूज कर ले. Change to current caused by building sea walls. So currents are there, but when we build submarine structures, they can cause the currents to modify pollutants and all those things. Yes, uncontrolled tourism and ships dropping anchor on them. Ships dropping anchor, so anchor can cause damage. Building of structures and as a source of pollutants such as sewage and fuel spills. So what is coral bleaching? As I've already told you, it occurs when corals are stressed. Did I tell you the stressors? Temperature, light, nutrients, and so then expel the symbiotic algae, causing them to bleach. Will this be fatal? Will not always be fatal, but it will make coral far less likely to survive because they have lost their safe food. So corals can catch their own food, but then corals are soft-bodied animals. Yes or no? Polyps. Polyps are soft-bodied animals. So if they go out hunting, उनके लिए problem हो जाए. What is the problem? They will be eaten. They will be consumed. Is everyone with me on this? तो वो मर जाएंगे. That is the problem. The coral loses its major food source and is more susceptible to disease. Coral bleaching. Everyone, can you see healthy coral has got all those algae? Stressed coral, can you see the algae dots are moving away and bleached are totally gone? Is everyone okay? So this is coral bleaching. Easy to understand. I've taken around 10 minutes to explain this. Is everyone okay with coral bleaching? The mechanism, the causes, especially in form of the stressors. With me on this? Explain the Wilkinson report on coral reefs. This is the question UPSC asked. Optional में ये पूछ लिया है. Everybody knew about corals, what is going to happen and all that, and what they ask? Explain the Wilkinson report. Nonsense here. People are wondering, कौन है Wilkinson? Which theory? Is this some Davis-like fellow? And who did this? What is there? So some years the examiner goes for these bouncers, and this was totally based on current affairs. So geography as an optional. Do you see the role of current affairs? See, Wilkinson stands for Clive Wilkinson. Sir, उसने भी ये report दी होगी. हाँ तो दी होगी so. So Clive Wilkinson report on coral reef. Now, how does it add up? Let us look at this. So people read coral. We read the science of it. Yes or no? We read the science of it. What are we supposed to read? The geography of it. Whatever I told you just now is the science of it. There is symbiosis, and then like the temperature will increase, stresses will come, symbiosis will be broken. Yes or no? This is science. What are the stressors? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now UPSC says if I ask this, then there's hardly geography. It is better that I ask them the theories. Remember the standstill theory and the subsidence theory, Darwin and Daly. They said that is better. The theories are better. Why settle for this? So most of the time the question was coming from theories only. But then they wanted to ask a question from bleaching. Get that? They wanted to ask the question from bleaching, and they found that it is science. So they found geography of it. So let me give you the story first. Coral bleaching is a normal event. Natural event. Get that? So species interact with each other. Yes or no? Species interact with each other. You've heard of competition. You've heard of mutualism. You've heard of predatory behavior. Yes. You've heard of symbiosis, symbiotic relationships. So they interact with each other. They come into association with each other, but that association can break. And as I told you, there can be natural causes. Natural damage can be there. A storm can come and damage things. Corals can be destroyed. I told you a disease, plague can come and destroy it. Possible or not? And even temperature, and even sea level change. If you remember Pleistocene Ice Age. So can it happen on a storm or wave erosion? It is quite likely it happens. It happens. And corals revive also. Remember homeostasis? Naturally, this is happening. But in 1998, an El Nino event led to an abnormal heating of oceanic waters. Get it? Abnormal heating of oceanic waters because of global warming. And we saw coral bleaching at a global scale. Coral bleaching at a global scale. Get it? So if you remember, recently while doing the PYQs, I told my students, सबसे ज़्यादा coral world में is in Southeast Asia, Australia region. Coral triangle भी बोल लो उसको. Yes. So it was Indonesia, Philippines, and Australia. Together, around 1/3 of the world's coral is with them. Is everyone okay? Apart from this, if we are looking at Indian Ocean, can you think of corals? Lakshadweep, Maldives, Comoros. So they are there. Achha, Atlantic Ocean में the Caribbean islands. Caribbeans also have this thing. Even Lakshadweep, when I'm talking about, even Andaman and Nicobar. And mostly we are talking about what? Tropical and subtropical lands. Everyone with me? 1998 witnessed fire everywhere. I hope you can understand fire does not mean fire. Temperature rise everywhere. And this was seen as the first global coral bleaching event. Is everyone okay? First global coral bleaching event. Globally, the corals bleached. उससे पहले क्या था? Naturally. This was happening locally. Local and natural. And this was first of all global. This was global and man-made. True or not? Is everyone okay? 1998. So the story of Clive Wilkinson will go back there. So the story begins from somewhere from 1998. Is everyone okay? So the world is looking at this. 1998, a body set up, GCRMN, Global Coral Reef Monitoring Network. GCRMN. So what is GCRMN supposed to do? GCRMN is supposed to monitor the status of coral reef after 1998, whether they are improving, whether their state or their health is improving, or is it deteriorating, where more action is to be taken, and all that. And they gave out a report called State of Coral Report. Like we have State of Forest Report, State of Coral Report every 2 years. Do we get that? And Clive Wilkinson happens to head this report. Is everyone okay? So look at the, shall I say, smartness or whatness of the examiner. So rather than asking us discuss the recommendations or problems of coral bleaching in context of the State of Coral Report, he writes what? The Clive Wilkinson report. Everyone will lose it or not. Imagine if you're getting UNDP World Development Report, yes, World Corruption Perception Index. So if you write, explain the corruption perception index, or even SDG performance index, Sustainable Development Goals, whatever is happening there, performance index. If they're asking that, makes sense. Yes or no? Some cheeze make sense. They all make sense. But if you ask a person who was the head of that report, heading that report committee, that's unfair. Unfair or not? जैसे यूपीएससी ने पूछकर चीपता का प्रदर्शन किया, नीचता का प्रदर्शन किया, but that's what UPSC is for us. Get it? So choice में निकालो, कैसे निकालो, but sometimes UPSC has been very unreasonable and we can't deny that. अभी जीएस में आप पीटी में देखते हैं क्या वाहियात क्वेश्चन पूछ लेता है कई बार. Everyone with me on this. So this was Clive Wilkinson. So पूछा क्या है? पूछा coral bleaching है, but coral bleaching from the Clive Wilkinson report means the global status of corals. So question is a simple question. Question is explain the global status of corals. ये नहीं बोलेगा, क्या बोलेगा? Clive Wilkinson's report. True. So अगर आप इससे बहुत दुखी हैं and you want to file a case against UPSC, आप अगर खाली बैठे तो आप वो भी कर सकते हैं. Nothing will happen. True. So let us prepare and let us keep our current affairs also in mind. Everyone okay? चलिए. What are causing coral bleaching? What is causing coral bleaching? Let us try and understand. Global warming induced rise in seawater temperature is a leading cause of bleaching. Regions of high biodiversity have this thing. Not all coral bleaching events occur due to warming, and as I told you, many things occur otherwise also. So in January 2010, the water temperature of Florida Keys had dropped, causing a coral bleaching event that resulted in some coral drying. Scientists are currently attempting to ascertain whether higher or lower fluctuation of temperature have greater effect. So as I told you, that coral reefs are sensitive to the range of temperature, salinity, and even acidity, pH. So they are into all. So such a fragile ecosystem, such an important ecosystem can get impacted also. So we बहुत पता नहीं है, but we could see that global warming is causing that thing. Top 10 threat as per the report, 70% of the corals are expected to undergo long-term degradation, so which is 70. Continuing human stresses from the ICRMN report listed top 10 threats under 3 categories. Number 1, coral bleaching from warming seawater, coral bleaching from dissolving carbon dioxide, and direct human pressures. Is everyone okay? Do you have sufficient substance? I want to tell you that iske aage aur substance nahi chahiye. Is the content enough? Is the content enough? Now you know what this was. The only thing is that the report was not known. I think I have written GCRMN, इनका क्या है? ICRMN. Mine is Global Coral Reef Monitoring, इनका होगा International Coral Reef Monitoring. Anyways, excess of sediments, pollutants, overfishing, unsustainable destructive development of the coastal areas, increasing poverty, poor capacity for management, and weak political will. ये सब. So second one was ocean acidification. One is global warming, so temperature. Other is pH. Much of the carbon dioxide that enters the atmosphere dissolves into the oceans. Remember, oceans are carbon sink. In fact, oceans absorb 1/3 of the carbon dioxide. As carbon dioxide in ocean increases, its pH decreases. I hope acidity increase means pH decrease. You understand? This is called ocean acidification. With acidification, what will happen? The science says that the coral cannot absorb the calcium carbonate. They need to maintain their skeleton and the stony skeleton that supports corals. So too much of acidic water, calcium carbonate को बनने देगा, calcium carbonate will get dissolved. So you cannot have too much of that. Already, ocean acidification has lowered the pH of the oceans by 0.11 unit. Moreover, ocean's pH from 8.179 has come to currently 8.06. Sir, 7 के बाद होता है acidic, या तो 8 है, तो थोड़ा सा we want an alkaline water that is better, and gradually that alkaline is coming to neutral, and then it will be more acidic. So which means that the ocean is more 30% more towards the acidic side now. If nothing is done, the carbon dioxide emissions from the atmosphere, ocean acidification will further increase and damage and destroy that. Is everyone okay? So these are the two important ones. The सबसे पहले हमने देखा temperature, and then the second is this. Third is human pressures, which we have already looked into. More carbon dioxide in atmosphere changes reef over time. Okay, that more carbon dioxide, 280, 380, 1000 ppm. 280, this is the time of NCRT, class 11th. 380, present. In fact, present is more than 400. Can you see corals will shrink? Yes. And more carbon dioxide, they will shrink further, and they will lose the color. Can you see less color? Bleached totally. Can you see what is bleaching? Bleaching is that ecosystem which is dying over there. Impact of bleaching is that it will have detrimental impact to both environment terms, yes, and economic terms. So don't just think ecologically they lose habitat. Human beings which value money, वो भी जाएंगे. Fisheries will go. Conservation efforts. तो यहाँ GCRMN नहीं, I was correct. ICRMN कुछ गलत लिखा होगा उधर. GCRMN हो गया. There are major international efforts providing funds and expertise. International Coral Reef Initiative (ICRI) started GCRMN. So who started GCRMN? Under ICRI, International Coral Reef Initiative. They produce a database which is called Reef Base, and State of Coral Reef is being published every 2 years. 1998. Remember global coral bleaching event, first global coral bleaching event of the world. 1998 was 1 in a 1,000-year event. 1 in a 1,000-year event. First GCR, and as a result of that, global climate change in tropics had led to massive global bleaching. Get that? And as a result, first GCRMN global status report was given in 1998. As per the 2004 report, approximately 40 to 16% of the world reefs that were damaged were either recovering. So 40% had recovered. 40% had, or 40 plus, or 40% of the 16% of the damage. So 40% of the damage had recovered. These are few encouraging signs. So forget this, not needed. Some of you are saying, will I be able to? Just telling you, 1998, that was the event. 2004, status of coral reef. Coral reefs around the world continue to decline with increasing human pressure. So new reports keep on coming, but just telling you that this is what the common things which are there. World coral reefs are effectively destroyed. 24% are under imminent risk. Overfishing, particularly destructive methods. So all the reports, whenever I open the report, they give the same information. 2008 report now. After 2008 report. Fifth global report, 8 May. Yes. And who is the operational network of ICRI? GCRMN coordinator was Clive Wilkinson. Therefore, the examiner called it Wilkinson report. So, do we have to look at every report? No. I brought you the reports just to establish why this question was asked and how does the story begin. So, story begins in 1998. After that global bleaching event. And then we can see that things are happening. And after 10 years of that, UN celebrated International Year of Leaf. 2005 was the hottest year on record. Think about today. We had the hottest April. आने वाले दिनों में क्या होने वाला है? आने वाले दिनों में सिर्फ बढ़ने ही वाला है. Things will keep on increasing. Get that? Remember, ecosystem gives us services. So the world has lost goods and services 19% from the reef. 15% of the world's coral reefs are under imminent threat. 20% of the reefs under threat within 20 to 40 years. There are some regions of the world which are stable. Most of the reefs are either well managed, Great Barrier Reef. So 2008 report, Kerry, Great Barrier Reef, Bermuda, yes, Seychelles, Maldives, Chagos, Caribbean, Papua New Guinea. These are well managed. True. Not in 2022. Situation is grave. Yes or no? Sankat gehra raha hai. Even Great Barrier Reef, if you have been listening to it, Great Barrier Reef is also facing bleaching. True. मैंने आपको बोला था वो क्लाउड पर सॉल्ट स्प्रे कर रहे हैं. Remember, I gave you an example of cloud salt spray. Australians are doing salt spray over the clouds. A mist of salt is being sprayed in the coral reef region, Great Barrier Reef, assuming that those salts will act as a reflector on top of the clouds. Now, technology, let's not get into that, but then the fact is that this is happening. Is everyone okay with this? So this was coral bleaching. Did we understand Clive Wilkinson? And whatever reports are coming, they all are hinting at the same thing. Now let me tell you, 1998 was such a big. 2003 we had the second event. You know, around 2010 we had third one, 14, and now 2000, I think 18 to 20, fifth event. Global coral bleaching events have become a rule than an exception. Is everyone okay? True. So everyone, do we eat junk food or not? Do we eat junk food? Either udhar ka fast food, do we eat or not? Do we die? Do we die? No, we don't die. Get that? But if you offer the same junk food to the grandparents, they will say no. They will say no. But you say, it is my birthday, please take this burger, McDonald's burger. They'll say, your birthday, no? Grandson, granddaughter are favorites. So they have that. And then they have a huge problem. What is it? Their body is not able to metabolize it. True or not? It is not that they have lost the taste. They realize what goes in their body, how much they can metabolize. They are not on dieting. They have to be careful about their diet if they have to live long. True or not? So coral reefs, problem was happening. Yes. But 1998, it was a big problem. And now it has become a rule that they keep on coming. True or not? और अगर ये rule बन गया, if this becomes a rule, then one day it can be a serious last nail in the coffin. Heard of that last nail in the coffin? So maybe, all corals will go. अभी तो हम okay हैं, ठीक है, global coral bleaching 30% गया, ये गया. We're not doing anything. Remember 1998 से awareness भी आ गया. Awareness भी है, campaigns भी है, सब कुछ तो चल रहा है. Everything is running. But we are not running. True or not? So if we don't run, it is going to be a problem. Problem तो होगा या नहीं होगा? That is what I wanted everyone to see and realize that what coral bleaching is about. With me on this? Marine protected areas, they have been created. This I've already talked about in environment lectures with my students who are doing the morning classes. Yes, but I'm just saying that there are places where such things are happening and the governments are trying to do that. And tell me what is being done for marine protection? Anything the world is taking any targets on? Anyone? Is the world taking any targets? Sustainable development, no. On columns. Yes, Abhishek is correct. 30 by 30. Preparing to conserve or put under protected area 30% of the world's terrestrial and aquatic habitats. Terrestrial and aquatic habitats. Is everyone with me? IMO. Urvi 30 by 30 IMO. इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ करंट अफेयर्स को अगर लिंक नहीं करेंगे सिर्फ क्लासेस करने से कुछ नहीं है. I said no. Some memorization immediately will be stuck. अच्छा ये तो बताया था. This is where. So that is why answers will not come if we don't have the memory part of certain critical things. So have that. Marine pollution and litter. इसमें मैंने IMO की बात की थी. If you remember, IMO के साथ आ रहा है Glow Litter, Global Litter Program, Glow Litter. I also told you about the dead zones. Marine areas have 300 dead zones. Litter zones, 5 garbage gyres in the oceans. Great garbage gyres, heard of that? So marine litter क्या जा रहा है? Humans, paper, textile, सब चीज वहीं पर है. 60 to 90% of the litter is made up of plastic polymer. Easily जाएगा भी नहीं. Cigarette butts, everything you throw, it goes into the oceans. Is everyone okay? So my intention was to complete this topic. I have given 45 minutes to this topic. Is everyone comfortable? The plan is to give around 30 minutes to other two topics also, wave and tides, and we will be done with that. So next slide will be wave and tides. Do you need a break? 2-3 minutes break for the change? Okay, it's for 3 minutes break. Freshen up break if you are sleeping. All those who are sleeping after lunch, 3 minutes break. So it is 3:52 we will meet. And have some water. Waves. And we're talking about sea waves. Yes, they fall under something called as ocean dynamism. In this, we saw currents, we'll see tides, and we will see waves. True. First of all, what are sea waves and how are they different from currents? What are sea waves and how are they different from currents? So one is horizontal motion and many times a day. Horizontal motion many times a day. Please think. Look at the definition of currents. Both are movement of ocean water, but currents are dynamic. Okay, and waves are not dynamic. दोनों ने यश and पूर्वी have shown their lack of clarity. And then Sarveshwar joins party. क्या बोल रहा है? Sea waves move due to gravitation pull. Wow. And current flows to maintain heat budget. ये मुझे पता है तीनों ही आंसर है. तीनों के पास पूरा पोटेंशियल to give wind in all directions. और करंट में तो विंड का रोल ही नहीं है. Clear? Everyone, why not get the right answer? Because of one reason. Because of one reason, we are not reading, we are not memorizing keywords. Currents is movement of water in highly defined direction over long distances. I said that this is how I define it. Movement of water. By movement, I mean displacement of water. Filters wind is one of the factors. Is one of the factors. Set of factors. So if I ask you the difference between them, you won't say that this has 4 factors, this has 2 factors. But simply, if we don't know this, that's a very sad thing. The difference is, in this, there is no displacement of water. No displacement. Pani move nahi karta. Only oscillation of water about the ocean. Water is not transferred, energy is transferred. Energy is transferred. इसको challenge नहीं कर सकता. This is a very movement of water of energy. Long distances, same place, oscillation. That's the difference. One is for heat, other is for this, one is driven by gravity. ये थोड़ी ना. If we don't know this, that's a big challenge. Third में अगर हम आ जाते हैं तो vertical rise and fall of water due to gravitational pull of sun and moon. Now tell me, whatever I've written is not beyond NCRT. Is not beyond NCRT. इतना ही है, और कुछ है नहीं. But the sad part is that the class has not even gone through NCRT, or it has gone through NCRT. Recall नहीं है. क्यों recall नहीं है? Because we don't know how to read it, and because our education system has been such that we are only impacted by high-sounding words. Net metering, वो हमें आता है, ये नहीं आता. Only the big ones, the ones that would sound big, the ones with which a teacher can impress us, totally blow our minds off. भाई ये बहुत सही है, उसको करके you are trying to impress, not realizing nothing happens. Simple तीन definition में काम मिल जाता है. The definitions are distinctively different enough. Definitions are distinctly different enough. That is why I said that making things complex is what amateurs do. Experts simplify complex things. Yes or no? तो आप छोटी छोटी चीज को कर दो. Sir, we move due to gravitational pull, but current flow due to maintain heat budget. ये कहाँ से हो गया? On one side you are saying the driving force, on the other side you are saying the underlying purpose. So that immaturity is there. As I said, no, the amateurs will simply make things go complex. Simple things also look tough. Is everyone okay? NCRT में अगर देखोगे तो कहते हैं waves जो होती है ना, तीन तरह की होती है. Sea wave, और क्या कहता है? Wave के बाद आता है surf and swell. तीन चीजों की definition. Again saying dictionary of geography will work. That work is not happening until unless I want to give, it won't happen. And I'm saying there are people जो कम जानेंगे, people who know less, just because they have this, they'll be able to do more. ठीक है? पहला तो ये हुआ. Is everyone clear about the difference? Next is ये wave बनती कैसे? Wave is a disturbance. Wave is a disturbance. Get that? You are standing. Your brother, your sister, or your friend is standing, and you have a thread. You have a thread which you are pulling. I come, and pinch the thread and pull it up. Moment I release, what will happen to the thread? What will happen to the thread? Thread remains in the hands of A and B only, but the thread will go down, up, down. Amplitude will reduce. And finally, what will happen? Thread will become solid. So thread will go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. Amplitude will reduce. Vibration. Finally, this. Yes or no? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Because I gave the system the energy. So how did you give the energy? See, the thread was like tight. I picked it up and I pulled it up. And now I release. It goes like this, and finally it settles. Will it settle like this or not? This motion in which energy is being transferred. This motion in which energy is being transferred is called wave. Is everyone okay? So there is a rope. There is a rope lying over there. You go, and with your hand, you pick up this rope and give it a jerk. What will happen to the rope? A wave will be created or not? If you do like that. Yes or no? So there was the point A, point B, point C, point D, point E. Everyone? There was a rope on the ground and you started doing up and down. So will the rope go like this or not? True? So will the point A of the rope, will it travel to E? Will point A travel to E? Yes or no? Will point A travel? So many people are writing yes also. Think about it. Point A will remain point A only. But that energy will travel. So point A will move. Yes, it will go up. It will go down. It will oscillate. No. Next oscillation will be like this. ऐसे तो होगा. True or not? Yes or no? So what will happen to B? B will go up. B will come down. C will go up. C will come down. D will go up. So what is happening to this? These are just oscillating up and down. But what is happening to the wave? The wave is going like that in the wave motion. Do we agree? I don't know why did people say A will reach E. ऐसा तो नहीं होता ना? आपने देखा क्रिकेट स्टेडियम में audience, and then suddenly a wave is created. आपने देखा Mexican wave is created. People sitting in the stadium. देखा आपने wave? So what is happening? These people are standing right now. All others are sitting. True or not? After this, they will sit and these people will stand up. Then they will sit, and so as a result, what does it appear? As if a wave is traveling. Have you seen that in the stadium? Waves traveling. देखा है मजाक कर रहा हूं. We call it a Mexican wave, where people are creating that wave. Are people running? No. What are people doing? Stand up when their turn comes and sit down. Anyone who's looking for that, it's like a wave which is moving. True. So wave motion involves up and down motion of particles, but what is traveling? Energy is traveling. So in the oceans, the surface of water is energized. Surface of water is energized by some driving force. Some driving force will energize it. Is everyone okay? Some driving force will energize it. Who can this driving force be? Quickly tell me. What can this driving force be? What can this driving force be? Wind, very good. Wind, wind. Anything else? Anything else? Tide. Okay, tide can be there. Tide can be there. And can I say tide is nothing but gravitational pull? Gravitational energy. Yes or no? Purvi, you don't know anything about oceans and ships, so don't talk about it. Earthquake, Rishabh, is absolutely okay. Seismic activities. Can I say seismic? Can I say volcanic? Yes. Can I say celestial? A meteor strike. Possible? ये कौन से इवेंट होते हैं? Catastrophic. Is everyone okay? So if a meteor comes and falls in the ocean, will it generate a wave or not? A submarine volcano suddenly erupt. Remember, recently Tonga Islands suddenly erupted. आपने देखा आसपास के उधर सुनामी आई थी, वेव आई थी कि नहीं आई थी? Similarly, an earthquake which came in the Sumatra region, did it cause the 2004 this thing in India? True. Tsunami. So wind, tide, and seismic, volcanic, celestial events can produce such waves, and that energy is taking it. And I also want to tell you, wind may be अलग-अलग पे depend करता है. Wind generated by a cyclone, and wind generated by westerlies and cyclonic wind, tropical cyclone. Which one will generate bigger waves? Which one? Cyclone. So cyclonic भी हो सकता है. So what are these? All these are sources of energy, and that energy will be transferred. तो बहुत सारे तरीके मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ. बहुत सारे तरीके मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ how wave is generated. How wave is generated. Let me show you some of the ways. Okay, right? This is the sea surface. This is the sea surface. Okay, that wind is blowing. Wind is blowing. Okay, that. Now I want to tell you that wind has a laminar flow. In atmosphere, wind has a laminar flow. People who know a little bit of science, lamina means layer. Wind has a laminar flow. That means there are layers of wind. Layers of wind. So wind is flowing in layers. Is everyone okay? So wind is not a homogeneous mass. There are layers of wind. The one which is lower will have more dust, yes, heavier, and accordingly it has arranged itself. Now tell me, as the wind blows, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, will they experience friction? Will they experience friction? Any moving object will experience friction, yes or no? So where will be greater friction? X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Which layer will experience maximum friction? So X will experience maximum friction. Is everyone with me? I'm also with you. X is going to experience maximum friction. Clear? Friction is something, a force that opposes the motion. So suppose they are allowed to move for a time t. Suppose all of them are allowed to move for a time t. Can I say the different layers would have covered different distance? Which layer covers the least distance? X, then Y, then Z, then A, then B, then C. Yes. Can I say beneath C now there is no air? Beneath C there is no air. Obviously there is some air. For the future, but the support is gone. People who know a little bit of science, lamina means layer. Wind has a laminar flow. That means there are layers of wind. Layers of wind. So wind is flowing in layers. Is everyone okay? So wind is not a homogeneous mass. There are layers of wind. The one which is lower will have more dust, yes, heavier, and accordingly it has arranged itself. Now tell me, as the wind blows, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, will they experience friction? Will they experience friction? Any moving object will experience friction, yes or no? So where will be greater friction? X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Which layer will experience maximum friction? So X will experience maximum friction. Is everyone with me? I'm also with you. X is going to experience maximum friction. Clear? Friction is something, a force that opposes the motion. So suppose they are allowed to move for a time t. Suppose all of them are allowed to move for a time t. Can I say the different layers would have covered different distance? Which layer covers the least distance? X, then Y, then Z, then A, then B, then C. Yes. Can I say beneath sea now there is no air? Beneath sea there is no air. Obviously there is some air. For the future, मतलब आगे का है, but the support is gone or not? Yes. Possible. What will be the tendency? Tendency to press on the surface. Will there be tendency to press on the surface? Point A, which was here, will it be pressed here? Yes or no? How would the surface be now? Will experience friction? Yes or no? So where will be greater friction? X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Which one? Which layer will experience maximum friction? Sir, X will experience maximum friction. Is everyone with me? I'm also with you. X is going to experience maximum friction. Clear? Friction is something, a force that opposes the motion. So suppose they are allowed to move for a time t. Suppose all of them are allowed to move for a time t. Can I say the different layers would have covered different distance? Which layer covers the least distance? X, then Y, then Z, then A, then D, then C. Yes. Can I say beneath C now there is no air? Beneath C there is no air. Obviously there is some air. For the future, मतलब आगे का है, but the support is gone or not? Yes. Possible. What will be the tendency? Tendency to press on the surface. Will there be tendency to press on the surface? Point A, which was here, will it be pressed here? Yes or no? How would the surface be now? Has a waveform been created or not? This is how a wave is created. When we were talking of currents, remember for currents, what did I use? Frictional drag. Frictional drag. Friction is dragging the bottom layer. But for waves, what am I doing? I am causing O, point O, to move from its mean position to come to O dash. True or not? Is everyone okay? Are you with me? True. Come back to this. There was a thread between you and your friend. I pressed it. I pressed the thread down. When I release, what will be the tendency of the thread? You and your friend were holding a thread. I pressed it down. Yes, sir? When I release it, I pressed it down. When I remove my finger, what is the tendency of the thread? So to come back. Come back where? Come back where? To its original position. It does come back. Does it stop over there? Does it stop? No. So it has momentum, it goes up. Do we get that? When the energy is finished, then what will happen? It is again displaced from the center. It will again come down. It will reach the mean, but it has momentum. And finally it will settle. Yes or no? You have disturbed this point O. Will point O want to come back? Yes or no? Will it cross and will it go here? Yes or no? O double dash. So can I say wave motion is oscillation about the same point? Do you agree? True. Everyone. If there is a driving force which is pressing on this, there is a force which is pushing it back also. What is that force? Tell me. What is that force? तो आपने और आपके फ्रेंड ने थ्रेड को पकड़ा हुआ है. I disturb it. So there was a force like this. I disturb it, so it came here. But which force is causing this thing to come back? Which force is causing the pressed area to come back? Gravity. Gravity causing it to go up. Think about it. Gravity causing it to go up. सर्वेश्वर restoration force. कहाँ से लाए भाई? जोमेटो पे है क्या? Restoration force. Amit is saying buoyancy. Puru is saying equilibrium and a question mark. Elastic force, restoration force, equilibrium. Surface tension. Isostatic, yes. Isostatic. Lithosphere यहाँ लगा रहा है. Liquid में surface tension होती कि नहीं होती है? Does liquid maintain a surface or not? If you try to disturb, will it come back to its surface or not? True. छोटा सा, little bit of disturbance, and these are created. What are created? See, well, waves भी कह सकते हैं, but these are more like ripples or capillaries. True. This is how the sea becomes. Is everyone okay? ये तो आपने लेक में भी देखा होगा ऐसा. विंड से कभी-कभी लेक ऐसी हो जाती कि नहीं? लेक में छोटे-छोटे वो बन जाते. Have you seen that? Yes or no? True. This high part is called the crest. This low part is called the trough. And the gap between them is called the amplitude. How much is the amplitude? Very little. 1 to 2 centimeters only. 1 to 2 centimeters only. Do we get that? But if the force is too much, then what can happen is this can be disturbed too much. And now, so पहले क्या है? C ripples है. But now what will be created is, these are called C waves. Do you get that? So what is the difference between waves and ripples? Waves are bigger. They are bigger. If this was 1 to 2 centimeters, this can be, like 2 to 15 centimeters. What 2 to 15 centimeter? Amplitude. The distance between a crest and a trough. तो ये क्या है? ये इसका mean है. This is the mean line. Is everyone okay? So the distance between this will be 2 to 15. How does it depend? Depends how strong the wind is. For how long it has been blowing. So start इससे होगा, फिर क्या हो जाएगा? It will turn into this. And the distance between two successive crests or two successive troughs is called wavelength. Can you see the wavelength here is small? Small wavelength है कि नहीं? True or not? Sorry, मैंने amplitude लिखा. This should be wavelength. 1 to 2 centimeter wavelength, 2 to 15 centimeter wavelength, not amplitude. Is everyone okay? So these are C waves. How are they created? They are created like that. So wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency. Thank you for informing that. What is frequency? Frequency is number of waves per unit time. Do we get that? So this is in 1 minute. This is in 1 minute. Is everyone okay? How many waves passed in 1 minute in case A? Please count. And how many waves passed in 1 minute in place B? जल्दी से बताइए. 8 minute में. I started my class time t is equal to 0, t is equal to 1 minute. How many waves? So waves are distance between them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, around 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, around 3 waves. So which one has higher frequency? Higher frequency, but low wavelength. Yes or no? And this is what? High wavelength, low frequency. Do you understand this also? So wavelength, frequency समझ में आ गया. So what is the motion of the particles? Are the particles getting displaced? No. Particles are just oscillating up and down. The oscillation amount can change. If the wave is a ripple or a capillary wave, छोटा wave है. And if it's a big wave, we call them the gravity waves. ये almost gravitational waves हो जाती हैं, because in this, the gap between the trough and crest is enough to cause even gravity to have an impact. Do you get that? Gravitational waves. Everyone okay? एक और वेव बना देता हूँ. 0 किलोमीटर यहां से शुरू कर रहा हूं. 500 kilometers, 1000 kilometers. Get that? How much was this? 5 waves into how much is the wavelength? Centimeter, 2 centimeter. 5 into 2, how many centimeters? 50 centimeters में इतने सारे ripples थे. Yes or no? 15 into 3, 45 centimeters में थे. Yes or no? But here I'm not talking about centimeters. I'm talking about kilometers. You can imagine kilometers. Can I say a wave having exceptional wavelength? Can you see? Almost 500 kilometers. Huge wavelength and low amplitude. What are these? Swell. So if you ask me, 1, 2, 3. Do you understand the difference between capillary or ripple waves, gravitational waves, and swell? Swell are low amplitude but very high wavelength. Get that? They are the highest energy. इसमें packed है energy. Yes, these are least energy. Everyone with me on this? True. Now for a wave, remember the wave will be like this. Wave को इसको क्या बोलते हैं? This shape. Everyone, can you see this shape? This shape is called waveform. The shape is called, what is the shape called quickly? Waveform, in which there are crest, in which there are troughs. Can I say waveform is a disturbed state of the plane surface? Everyone okay? Now for a waveform to stay like this, the particle which is oscillating, actually इसमें तो वो oscillate ही कर रहा होता है, up down, इसमें the particle is actually rotating, ऐसे गोल गोल जा रहा होता है, get that? वो because of the gravitational aspect that comes, so particle is rotating. ठीक है? Do we get that? As long as the particle is allowed to rotate, the wave will remain like this. But if the ocean bottom comes, if there is ocean bottom and there is no sufficient depth, what will happen? The particle will not be able to oscillate and the waves will break. Have you seen in the ocean? ऐसी लहरें टूटती हैं. Yes or no? On the coastal areas, the waves break. If you have been to the coastal areas, these are called wave breakers. So when the depth is not sufficient, then the waves will start breaking. Is everyone okay? So ripples don't require much depth because they are very little, but gravitational waves, they will require sufficient depth. And in fact, इसका oscillation तो सबसे ज़्यादा, they require the maximum depth. Yes or no? They require the maximum depth. So when a swell is interrupted, swell will create a huge wave, and that's what a tsunami is about. So tsunami is created by the energy of an earthquake leading to huge swells on the surface. That is why a ship on the sea will not be impacted by a tsunami. But when tsunami enters the coast, it acquires height. Because in the shallow areas, the water is going and piling up, and it can be as high as 10 meters, 20 meters तक high जा सकती है tsunami wave. Everyone okay? Are we understanding something about waves? Are we clear? Slide me, let me put a slide for the waves. So this was my explanation. I hope you've understood it. Slides will also help you understand many more things. Using the chitra, you will be able to understand things. Ocean dynamism, the waves and tides. Do we know all this? Types of flow of oceans. General circulations. Remember I told you the general circulation of the oceans? Abyssal, also called the deep sea circulation, have we done that? Wind-driven currents, have we done that? Gyres, have we done that? Boundary currents, on the boundary. Remember deep sea also we did that, west boundary current, east boundary current. This is all done in currents chapter. Waves. Waves are forward movement of ocean water due to oscillation of water particles by the frictional drag of wind over water surface. So ये forward movement of energy or disturbance due to oscillation of water particles. Wave have crest, wave have troughs. The wavelength, we have already understood what is the wavelength between two crest and two. Wave travel as groups. Groups are called trains. So these are wave trains. So not just one wave, but a battery of waves is traveling. So these are called trains of this thing. Wind generated, tidal, I told you the gravity of sun and moon. Additionally, catastrophic event can also be there. And finally, regular pattern of smooth rounded waves. Very smooth and rounded waves. These are called swells. Is everyone okay? और सर्फ क्या होता है? सर्फ मैंने 3 बताए थे ना. I told you 3. What is surf? Sea wave we understood. Swell we understood. What is surf? So surf is Surf Excel. We wash clothes with it. I think Karishma Kapoor is doing the ad of Surf Excel या कोई और कर रहा है? हमारे टाइम में कुछ और करते थे. I think nowadays Karishma Kapoor is doing the ad of Surf Excel. नहीं, वो निर्मा का कर रहे हैं. दाग अच्छे हैं, कौन कर रहा है? ₹10 से सारे दाग धुल जाएंगे. ग्रैंड मदर और बच्चा. ठीक है. सर्फ बताओ ये क्या है? जूही चावला कर रही. जल्दी से बताओ ये सर्फ क्या होता है? सर्फ फोम और फ्रॉथ, वो जो झाग आती है सी पर, दैट इज सर्फ. यस, वो जो वेव का एज है वहां पर वेव जहां ब्रेक करती है, तो यहां पर क्या बनेगा? सर्फ बनेगा. कहां पर? दिस इज द प्लेस वेयर द वाटर विल कम. यस नो? आपके पैर पे, इफ यू बीन टू द ओशंस, पैर पे जो झाग आती है, दैट इज सर्फ. सो आफ्टर द वेव ब्रेक्स, सर्फ इज क्रिएटेड. तो क्या चल रहा है? हाँ, सो ये वेव है. एवरीवन कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड? पहले तो अप डाउन होता है एंड इट आल्सो मूव्स इन अ सर्कुलर मैनर. मूवमेंट ऑफ वाटर मॉलिक्यूल अबाउट दैट पॉइंट. वेव का ट्रफ, वेव का क्रेस्ट, वेव का लेंथ. Is everyone okay? Characteristic of waves. So upper layer of the air sinks. Everyone, are you okay with the upper layer of the air sinking? So it has been pressed. Wave crest is there. Wave have circular orbit, so they move like this. Wave trough is also there. The orbit becomes elliptical. So first it is like this, then it becomes like this. Yes, elliptical due to the friction. Now there is friction. And when there is no sufficient depth, what will happen? This will break. This is called the breaker. And then it will approach the coast as in the form of froth. So the water rushing towards the coast is called swash. Swash will bring froth with it. And people who have been to the oceans on the beach, do you feel there is something pulling you back? That pull is called backwash. Swash and backwash. Is everyone okay? I think I've talked about this before also. Are we clear? Swash and backwash. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Wave breaker. The open ocean friction moving the wave generate energy within the water. The energy is then passed between water molecules in ripples called waves in transition. The water's energy moves forward towards the shore and the depth decreases and the diameter of these circular patterns also decrease. So पहले ये diameter था, अब ये थोड़ा छोटा होकर इस तरह हो रहा है, and then it is further like this, and then this force breaks. Wave. Is everyone okay? When the diameter decreases, the pattern becomes elliptical. Waves are forced close together since they are not allowed moving further. When the waves become too high relative to the water depth, the wave stability is disturbed and the entire wave topples. When it topples, it creates froth. And this one rushing towards the coast. This is the time when actual movement of water happens. Abhi tak to kya tha? Oscillation. But when the wave has broken, then the water rushes towards you. On the coast, you might say, Sachin sir, you said it is only oscillating, but on the coast, I have seen the wave rushing towards me and going away from me. So that is the broken wave, not the wave. Wave, once it breaks, then it will move, rush towards you or come away from you. Is everyone okay? Then they grow in height, steepness, and entire wave topples into the beach, forming a breaker. And from here, surf runs on shore. Okay, beach पर surf आता है. Wave interference. So waves can interfere also. Remember, if you remember two waves, when they interact with each other, they can be constructive interference and they can be destructive interference. In constructive interference, what happens? One wave superimposes with other so that the amplitudes become higher. So they constructively become a much stronger wave. Destructive wave is the crest of this and the trough of this. They come and they cancel each other out. That is called destructive waves. Get that? The exchange of energy between water molecules also makes the ocean crisscross with waves traveling in all directions, and when they meet, they interact. This is called wave interference. This first occurs when the crest and trough between two waves align and they combine. They cause dramatic increase in the wave height. But opposite can also happen. They can cancel out each other. So when they cancel each other, what is this? Destructive interference, and this is constructive interference. So tsunami is also there, and any other wave is there. If constructive interference is happening, it makes it more dangerous. Eventually, the wave do reach the beach. They different size of breakers hit the beach, cause interference, and further out into the oceans. इसी में I told you something about longshore drift. Remember? ये तो मैं आपको बता चुका हूँ longshore drift. Do you remember longshore drift? That waves are coming, hitting perpendicularly, but when they hit at an angle, they get reflected, bounced like this, and the water flows parallel to the coast. This is how landforms are created. Remember? Spit, Tombolo. We were talking about this. ऐसा कुछ है? This I've already done. This is how, can you see this? Longshore drift is creating what? It is developing a spit. I gave you an example of which lake? I think Sriharikota station in which lake? Pulicat Lake. Remember that? Foundation class, we did that in Pulicat Lake. Formation of a spit. Coastal landforms भी हम कर चुके of deposition and erosion. Have we done that? Have we drawn these also? सबने submit भी किया था. Low energy coast, high energy coast. When there is more deposition, low energy. When there is more erosion, high energy. Can you see low energy, high energy coast? High energy, eroding. Can you see erosion? Cliffs. Everyone, can we see cliffs? Cliffs and wave cut platforms. And here what do we have? Depositions. Low energy. So much of spits and everything is being deposited. Low energy, high energy. Use this. I've already done this with you. Dynamic equilibrium. That is also there. Formation of shore bar. Not needed. This is to do with geomorphology. Geomorphology, I've already done that. Tsunami. What is tsunami? Everyone. Can you see 213 kilometer wavelength? 213 kilometer is the wavelength of one wave. I told you wavelength, छोटी wave की कितनी wavelength होती है? 10 kilometers की wavelength. 6 kilometers. See, this is 10 kilometer, 23, 48, 282 kilometers wavelength. Yes, that's huge. That's seriously huge. Yes or no? And deep in the ocean. So how much is the depth? Deep oceans. Deep ocean. 132 kilometer is the wavelength. Can I say mild swell only? This is like swell because the amplitude is very, very low. Kitna hoga amplitude? Amplitude might be just 1 meter. amplitude might be just 1 meter. So if a ship is floating over here, ship ko pata bhi nahi chalega. Do we get that? But everyone, please pay attention. Now is the wave coming in the shallow water? Is the wave coming in the shallow water? Because of that, the wave doesn't get the depth it requires to complete the circle. Yes or no? Is the depth missing or not? Since the depth is missing, what will happen? The wave will change the shape. Will it change the shape? Now, the previous one which I was talking about, where I have made these diagrams. Everyone, do you know what is the wavelength? Wavelength might be 2 meters, 2 to 10 meters. That's it. 2 to 10 meters. That's it. Either क्या है wavelength? 23 kilometers. True or not? Okay. You have a scale. You have a pen. Okay. You press on this side of the pen. What will happen? It will rise. You press on this side of the pen. What will happen? Pen will rise. How much does it rise? Maximum. What is the height of this pen? How many centimeters do you guess? 10 to 12 centimeters. Do you get that? So if this was water, and there was a wave of 12 centimeter or 10 centimeter wavelength, how much will be the rise of the wave? This much only. Is everyone okay? So how will the wave go? 10 centimeters up, 10 centimeters down. That's the wavelength. Imagine everyone, instead of this, have you seen on the cloth shop 1 meter rod? 1 meter rod? Yes, 1 meter rod. Have you seen that on a cloth shop? So we know metal rod 1 meter. If you go to buy cloth, they measure it with 1 meter. Now, if that rod is there, so this is a 1 meter rod. If this is forced, obstructed to topple over, how much high will it rise? Pen was 10 centimeters. And if that 1 meter rod is there, how much will it rise? 1 meter. True. So that wave, 1 meter will be high or not? Your height is, if you are 160 centimeters, you are 1.6 meter. So that wave will hit your chest. 1 meter high wave will hit your chest. Do you get that? Everyone, what is the wavelength here? What is the wavelength here? Not 10 centimeters, not 1 meter, 213 kilometers. If this one rises, what will be the height? 213 kilometer high wave. But this will not rise. Why will it not rise? Because it has sufficient depth. When the depth is blocked, now its amplitude changes. Its amplitude increases, so the wavelength reduces. Remember, wavelength will reduce. So now the wavelength has become 23 kilometer. 23 kilometer is also big, but still the wave has not broken. The wave has not broken. It continues like that. Now it has turned very oval. Yes, and now its wavelength is 10.6 kilometer. From 200 kilometers, how much has it happened? 10 kilometers. Yes. And this is your harbor. Harbor means port. If this wave reaches over here, there's a full chance that this wave will break. Full chance that this wave will break. And what will be the height? This height can be 30 meters. 30 meters means 10-story building. Do we get that? 30 meters. And it is the same wave. Can I say this is the wave 1, wave 1, wave 1, wave 1, wave 1, wave 1? In deep sea, low amplitude. In harbors, very high amplitude. Therefore, these are called harbor waves. Japanese word for harbor waves is tsunami. Japanese for harbor waves is tsunami. So harbor waves are waves which are created only in the harbor. Their route lies somewhere far off. Only when they don't have sufficient depth, they acquire this height. Do you get that? Amplitude is increasing, wavelength is decreasing. Wave छोटी होती जा रही है, but उसकी height बढ़ती जा रही है. This is what will happen. Is everyone okay? And everyone, let us talk about wave X. This is crest. Everyone, can you identify this is crest? This is trough. Yes or no? Wave Y. This is crest. This is crest, and this is trough. So as the wave is approaching, what will come first? Trough or crest? Trough or crest? Trough. पहले trough आएगा बच्चे, आगे trough है, पीछे crest है. So do you know what happens if this is the sea level? Everyone, please pay attention. If this is the sea level, before the tsunami arrives, can you see sea level falls down? Can you see sea level has fallen down? Before a tsunami arrives, can you see the sea level has fallen down? True. Sea level falls down. Why does it fall down? क्योंकि पहले क्या आया है? ट्रफ आया है. ट्रफ के बाद क्या आएगा? Bap of all crests will come and hit you. Do you get that? So abnormal lowering of seawater, areas which were never visible during tidal times, even low tide, low tide is the maximum low, no? Areas which were never visible in the ocean, just before the tsunami, they will be visible. Do you get that? When this happens, what should the people of the coast do? What should the people of the coast do when this is happening? What should be done? You suddenly see there is an abnormal fall in the the level of the sea. You can see deep inside as ocean ka slope dikhai de raha, continental shelf is, even animals, sea animals will also be, like the bottom dwellers. Remember the bottom dwellers? The benthos will be visible. Corals dikhne lag jayenge if they were that close. What should you do? What should you do if this happens? So Brijesh says move away and Yash says run. सर्वेश्वर तो पता नहीं क्या कहता है, ले डाउन ऑन शोर, शोर पे लेट जाओ. कितना सुंदर, लेट जाओ भाई वहीं पर, जैसे पानी नीचे जा रहा लेट जाओ. अबे भागो, रन. वेयर डू यू रन? यू रन टुवर्ड्स हाई ग्राउंड बिकॉज पानी आने वाला है. वेयर डू यू रन? रन टू अ हायर प्लेस विच एवर यू नो. और ये सर्वेश्वर उधर ही लेटा हुआ है, मंत्र का जाप कर रहा है, इसको ले जाएगा. ठीक है, ये बहुत सही था. क्या करना? लेट जाओ, लेट जाओ, लेट जाओ भाई, वहीं पे लेट जाओ. ये सुनो. Sarveshwar said, my dad saw this, sir, back in 2000 when tsunami hit. So let me tell you, Sayyid, further. So early in the morning, tsunami hit. Tamil Nadu coast, Chennai. Have you heard of Marina Beach? Largest beach over there. Yes or no? Suddenly what happens? The sea water starts going towards the sea. More and more land is exposed. Nowadays we have phone also. People call up, bhai, special phenomena. Sea going down. Run, jaldi se aao. You also see. For the first time I've seen this deeper sea. I can see the benthos also. Come. You've never seen it. Sab bhag ke aaya. Everyone ran. And then tsunami came. And then tragedy happened. It is such a surprising thing. That tsunami is so rare in this part of the world, in our part of the world, that mostly fishermen know the moods of the sea. They know all the meanings of what sea rising, falling is there because of their observations. If the present generation of seafarers don't know it, fishermen don't know it, their seniors, their parents, their grandparents would have told them stories. Purani kahaniyan. Yes, Kimdantiyan, lore, folklore. Tsunami had no mention even in Indian folklores. Imagine. So nobody knew about it. Moment they saw sea going down, bhai, kudrat ka karishma. Look at the amazing thing. Come over. Sabki halat ekdam kharab. True or not? That's what tsunami is. Because tsunami is not energized by wind. Tsunami carries the energy of an earthquake. Tsunami is not a surface distribution. Tsunami is entire ocean rushing towards you. It is not just a surface phenomena. You standing in the way of oceans. Imagine what will happen. And this water can come deep inside. If there are ships, those ships will be taken deep inside. Maybe a year after, when the water has gone back, you are wondering, 5 kilometers away from the sea, how did the ship reach here? The water brought it. Do you get that? That is what tsunami is. So tsunami is tectovolcanic. So till this day, my dad remembers it whenever he hears the word tsunami. It's big. It was a massive experience. It is unstoppable water. It is like you've been on the beach, no? The wave comes and goes, This wave comes and keeps coming. It doesn't stop. So the wave generally will come at high tide, low tide. That's the only thing. Probably, like 10 meters on the beach, it is coming here and there. So people are traveling also, and thoda beach bhi maar, hawa bhi maar. Here it comes kilometers inside the land. There's no stopping to it. That is what a tsunami is. Do we get that? Tsunami is a bap of all. So that was waves for you. Is everyone okay with waves? कहाँ से पढ़ेंगे? थोड़ा और पढ़ना हो तो जीसी लॉन्ग में बहुत ज्यादा नहीं दिया. एक तो एनसीईआरटी है. एनसीईआरटी में you can read those definitions. I think 7th Sing. You can try 7th Sing in this. Descriptive है. What questions do I get? I get questions mostly from wave landforms, sea landforms. Tsunami. You've understood about tsunami. Get that? So in the deep oceans, you will see the wavelength is high, speed is low. Can you see the speed is also going to go, and we are looking at as the depth is reducing. Depth is reducing, more friction, so the speed is reducing, and the wavelength is also reducing. The wavelength has reduced, but the amplitude of the wave will increase. Everyone clear on this? Tides पे आ जाए. So school level तो बता देंगे. Theories of tide अभी नहीं हो पाएगा. चलो, let's see 10 minutes. What did I tell you? Rise and fall. So can I use the word rhythmic oscillation? Rhythmic oscillation or rise and fall of ocean water due to gravitational and centrifugal forces between Earth, the Moon, and Sun. So centrifugal forces. Yes, centrifugal forces also. Why? So if you've heard about this theory, this is called the Newton's equilibrium theory. Heard of Newton's equilibrium theory of tides? सुना नहीं सुना? Newton, and later on, this was corrected by Laplace. Newton's Laplace equilibrium theory of tides. NCERT में सुना है नहीं सुना? Tide के बारे में कुछ पता है कि नहीं? Tides are caused because of difference in gravitational force. So what are tides? Tides के बारे में whatever terms that come to your mind quickly. What terms come to your mind when I use the word tide? Anything you've heard about tide? Tide से related any term, whatever you know about tide. High tide, low tide, moon tide, gravitational pull, okay, water level, gravitational force, what else? और भी पढ़ा होगा कुछ और? Change in water level. Think about it, prelims, mains, PYQ, anything you heard of. Terms, very important. Diurnal tide, okay, diurnal. Tide and ebb. नहीं, tide and ebb नहीं होता है ऋषभ. Flood and ebb tide. Flood tide and ebb tide. Neap tide. Spring and neap tide, okay. Everyone, this is the coast. This is the coast. Please pay attention. This is the coastline. Get that? And this is sea level. Is everyone okay? Because of the tide, because of the pull of the gravity pull, the water rises high and the water falls low tide. Is everyone okay? Water will rise and fall. This oscillation, rhythmic oscillation, is called tide. But on the coast, it is not seen as rise and fall. It is seen as that the water was up to here at mean sea level. At high tide, more of it gets immersed. Do we get that? High tide. And at low tide, it is here. Do you get that? Low tide. And this zone in between high tide and low tide, this is called intertidal zone. Do you get that? Actually, what is happening? Rise and fall of water. And on the coast, what are we experiencing? The water sometimes entering more on the land and sometimes going away from the land. This is actually where it should be. Do we get that? When the water is moving towards the land, that is called flood tide. When the water is moving away from the land, what is it called? Ebb tide. Rise and fall is what? Vertical movement. But with respect to coast, what do we see? Horizontal movement. Is everyone okay with this? High tide, low tide. On the sea, it is surface, but on the coast, it seems like more water comes, goes. Do we get that? And it happens at a frequency. So after every 12 hours, a place will have a high tide. After 12 hours, it will another be high tide, but after 6 hours, it will be low tide. High tide, low tide. So some places experience one high, one low, diurnal. Yes. Some places experience two highs, two lows, semi-diurnal. Is everyone okay? So that is what tide is about. तो आगे देखते हैं. Equilibrium tidal theory. Ideal approach to understand basic principle. अभी basic principle के लिए है, not an advanced theory. Unable to explain many phenomena. So it has got many anomalies. So it is not the most accepted paradigm. Do you understand? It is not the most accepted paradigm. First assumption is Earth is covered completely by water. Yes. And there are infinite deep oceans. And tidal bulge fixed relative to the moon. Okay. Dynamic tidal analysis, realistic approach, studying the tide as they occur on Earth, account for modification due to landforce geometry. So the tidal है. This is the advanced theory. ठीक है. इसमें कौन सा आ जाता है? Stationary wave and progressive wave theory. Stationary and progressive wave theory. Equilibrium में कौन सा है? Newton Laplace theory. Is everyone okay? इधर कौन है? Wavell-Harris theory. So that's a different one. So I'm not talking about advanced. अभी समझ में नहीं आएगा. But let's talk about the Newton Laplace. This is how Newton Laplace says that this is the Earth. Yes, this is the Earth, and we are looking at the moon. Moon is pulling on the Earth's surface and the water. And the water gets pulled. A bulge is created. Do we get that? A bulge is created. Now this diagram, can you see what is this? This is Arctic Ocean. So this is the poles. Towards the moon, the water rises. Why? Because of the gravitational pull. Moon attracts ocean. Is everyone okay? A bulge is created. Earth's motion creates opposing bulge. There is the center of mass around which moon and Earth seem to be rotating. Center of mass. Okay? And because of that, there is a centrifugal force which causes the water to move away. As a result, two bulges are created. Two bulges are created. Okay, everyone. Please pay attention. This is Earth. This is Earth. Is everyone okay? This is the center of Earth. Here we have the moon. When I say center of the Earth, seen from the North Pole. Everyone, North Pole axis. Is everyone okay? Because of the moon's gravitational pull, if I look at point A, point B, point C, point A, B, C, which one will experience more gravitational pull out of the three, A and C? A, because gravitational pull is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So what do we get? We get a bulge over here. The land does not, but the water which is deformable, एक bulge हो गया. Is everyone okay? So everyone, what are these? What are these lines? Can you tell me? Longitudes or meridians? Yes or no? So all places on this meridian, will they have a high tide or not? All places on this meridian on both the hemispheres, because water is this. True? Get that? Now what is happening is, please pay attention. Earth and moon, though moon is revolving around the Earth. How is this happening? Moon is revolving around the Earth. Yes or no? Moon is revolving around the Earth. True? Happening or not? In fact, ऐसे नहीं आएगा, इसी तरह से आएगा. With me on this, everyone? Moon is revolving around the Earth. So I want to tell you that this whole system is turning around also. How is it turning around? Remember, sun is in the center, and we are also turning. The Earth-Moon system is also moving like this. It is also rotating. That Earth-Moon system is also rotating. Do you get that? Sun is in the center, Earth and Moon, they are also taking the chakra and they are also rotating. Anything which is rotating will have a centrifugal force or not? Centrifugal force, true or not, everyone? Centrifugal force has a tendency to throw things away from the center. Where is the center? Where is the center? The center of mass. Somewhere in the center of mass. This is the Earth center. And where are the center of mass of Sun, Earth and Moon? And what are they? What are they? This whole system is one. We are connected, no? So this is the system that we are in, and this whole system is revolving around the sun, and it's rotating also. So what will be the tendency? Tendency will be to throw away from the center. Yes or no? A force away from the center. True. One is the force of gravity. Forget that bulge. But is there a force? Is there a force which is trying to throw water or something away from Earth? That is called the centrifugal force. So there is a force which is also trying to push things away from Earth, and that's called centrifugal force. So that also creates a bulge. So there is bulge on either side. There is bulge on either side. Is everyone okay? Now everyone, let me look at this. Let me look at this meridian. Remember, meridians are full circles. Can I say everything on this meridian? Everything on this meridian has a high tide. Yes or no? Everything on this meridian has a high tide. Everyone with me? At what time? At say 6 a.m. in the morning. Point A will reach this place in 6 hours. So can I say 12 noon? True. Now if the water has been pulled here, what will happen to the water here? Either the water lower or jayega, because water is limited only, no? So here what will happen? Low. Here it will be low. So how can the water go inside the earth? Just to depict that the force is like this. So either pani ka level come lower than normal. Is everyone okay? So 12 a.m. what will be here? Here will be low pressure. Yes. And after 6 hours, if I come here, A will come to, after B comes to C, again a high pressure. So 6 p.m. in the evening. 6 p.m. in the evening, what happens? There is again high tide. Sorry, I said high pressure. And 12 a.m. in the morning, low tide. So one high, low, high, low. Every 6 hours, high, low, high, low. This is happening. Do we get that? Later on, Laplace also corrected this idea, where he talked about some vector sum of forces. That right now we don't have much time. We can talk about it later someday when I'm doing the theories. Let me do the theories one day. The simple theories also, the equilibrium theories, as well as the dynamic theories. So the bulge is created. Can we see that? Uniform water surface. If I assume this is a better diagram, if this is the uniform water surface, here what happens? Here there is fall in water level, and here there is rise in water level. Is everyone okay? Excess centrifugal force, excess gravitational force. Now this excess, why we are doing excess in terms of vector sum. Today I am not able to explain how vectors are considered. वो Laplace ने बाद में vector sum में उसे explain किया. So this idea, the simplistic idea of Newton is not accepted. Later on, vector sum is what we have accepted more. I'll tell you later. So दो bulges हो जाते हैं. Bulges along the entire meridian. Can you see along the entire meridian? Suppose this is 90 degrees. So everywhere there will be high pressure. और यहाँ पर क्या होगा? High pressure होगा, high tide. This will be low tide. Is everyone okay? Sun's effect, remember this? I told you with respect to a common orbit of Earth, Moon, center, the mass of this. So with respect to this, everything is thrown away. True? So this is where centrifugal force is acting. The centrifugal force causes a bulge, and Moon was also causing a bulge, something of that sort. We'll explain this later, diurnal and semi-diurnal. Abhi to time khatam ho raha hai. Even I have some other work to do. I would post this slide. Please have a look at this. What is spring tide? What is neap tide? For examination, you must know this. So tide, who could not complete it. Generally, we keep the class for 2.5 hours. By mistake, they kept today's class for 2 hours. In fact, I requested because I have to go somewhere at 6. Astronomical high tide, terms associated with tide, tidal cycle, diurnal tide. I think if you go through these terms, then it will be better for me to explain. Let me not hurry it up. Okay? Flood tide, high tide, ebb tide, low tide, slack tide. If you did not know, everything is covered in the slide. As I said, no material requirements. I will complete them. What is the tidal range? What is mean tide? And then dynamic tidal theory. As I told you, no progressive waves, high level theories. There we have something called as amphidromic point system. Not easy to understand. I'll explain to you. And amphidromic points kaise bante hain? These are amphidromic points. You will not understand them just by this. So I thought I'll be able to finish it in 2 hours. Tide रहेगा. Tide is the last thing left. Is everything else done in oceanography? Is everyone okay with this? Tide and tidal theories are left. Before I go into that, can I assume that you will know these terms? Mean tide level, tidal range, flood tide, high tide, ebb tide. I'll post this slide. Basically, this slide as it is, you can take it without annotations. It is fairly visible to all. Okay. Chili. Ending this. Thank you. And make sure to do the homework. The homework part I've already told you. Make sure to do that, and rest is all fine. Take care. Bye-bye. I will upload this slide. So homework can I expect it by Monday? Perspective homework. Perfect. So in your 12 days, make sure you repeat certain things. If required, memorize certain things. Your answer writing, everything will come in place. Everything will come in place. Okay? Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.